You're listening to Moonhawk Studios Presents. Okay, welcome to another edition of Moonhawk Studios Presents. I am your ever-fatigued host, Mac Paladin. And being trifled as always is my good friend Adam.
Yeah, hello.
We have the Galax kicking around here somewhere.
Hi, if I had the mic muted by accident, it's probably because I'm coughing again.
Petty Fan on the stereo mix.
Screw you, Murphy's Law.
And of course, we have Elemental Ogre.
Why can't have they done Mystic Knight as a tank as well?
You may have answered your own question.
Work as a rune fencer.
And we have Twilight Winter.
Aye.
I'm probably going to be talking a little slower and more deliberately to make sure that I don't slur my speech, because for some reason I'm really sleepy.
Also, I might be a little drunk.
I wish that were the case, but I think I've been averaging about 5 hours of sleep since September.
Bad.
Yeah. And then followed by like 11 hours of sleep on my days off. All right, now that we've gotten that enthralling bit of information out of the way, Adam, why don't you lead us off with the news?
Yeah, the news is we've
That's
been
the podcasting.
it's
Yes.
like been dealing with a lot of tech problems. Well, namely Petty Fan's tech problems on the Fragments of Silicon show.
Petty Fan.
He'll go into detail in his segment.
I'm sure.
Outside of that, not a whole lot going on this week, which is fine by me considering how busy the last few weeks have been.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mentioned those.
Yeah, but I have the memory of a salamander right now, so you can always recap if it helps with the narrative.
I guess. I mean, the accident stuff's dying down, and I've got my new computer set up, so that's what I'm talking about.
Ah, okay.
I gotta pay the ticket next week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow. I think it's the deadline. Shut up, Windows 10.
I wondered why there was a momentary blip there.
Yeah, it's sending me a notification for something.
Huh.
I'm like, no, Cortana, I don't want to look something up.
I have Google for that.
I tried to turn Cortana off. I'm not sure it worked.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I'm still having that random experience with Siri where she comes up randomly and spews garbage at me.
So every other minute then.
Well, it was doing this thing where it's like she's half listening to me. So it pops up, and then all of a sudden it says, Munchin Gerber Derba Zaba Krupa. And then she goes, I don't quite understand. And I'm like, no fucking fooling.
The bitch is speaking tongues. Somebody get me an exorcist.
Either that or a Pentecostal who understands it.
I was going to say, she's half listening to you, so it's every woman who's ever loved you.
I will fucking
Ouch.
kill you.
I think you do need a tech issue right now.
Yeah. Either that or a filter. Christ.
Filters cost extra.
Also, how's your dead love life, asshole?
I'm gonna go pet my cat now.
There we go.
She loves me unconditionally.
as long as
Alright,
you
I'm
feed her
sorry.
right.
That's what she said.
That is okay. That's enough of that tangent. Adam, did you have any further stuff to add before we go further into this tangent?
No, I do not.
Okay, Petty fan, why don't you embarrass yourself further?
All right, so I guess with the tech issues, first off, it started with Skype didn't want to let me into the call for fragments, so I restarted my computer. Windows decided it wanted to update, so we lost about half an hour to that. And then my drivers kept failing during the call, so I couldn't say anything, and I was plugging and unplugging my headset just so the stream could hear. And it was a
Great.
hot mess.
Oh boy. Well, that's fun.
Yeah. I ended up saying screw it, bypassing the audio and just unplugging my headset.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
As far as personal news goes, I don't need to get a new headset.
I figured it out. All right.
Yeah, no shit.
All right.
Just been playing games and stuff for the show.
Yeah, you got that right.
We still have the interview going on next week, which that's going to be fun.
Have you found anyone else yet?
No one has gotten back to me, but I'm going to see about poking some of the choice people on Twitter.
Hmm.
And if that doesn't work, then no. I have not gotten anyone.
I'm going to see if some of my new voice actor friends might want to join us on the podcast. I'm specifically looking towards Skylar Davenport. She's a pretty big deal over at Funimation, but she's probably one of the most responsive members of that community that I've had so far. I tried to get Kristen McGuire back on the show. We interviewed her last season, and she no talkie to me anymore.
Is there a particular reason for that, or is it just...
Voice actors become notoriously busy because they have to work to live.
Yeah.
Which is something I tried to explain to my soon-to-be ex-co-executive producer about
and then you have
haranguing
to live
about.
to win,
Yeah,
and then you die, and then
Well-
some other lyrics happen afterwards.
there was a misconception that I should be able to, pay a voice actor $25 to do a bit part and then expect them to be my indentured crowdfunding servant for the next 30 days. And I'm like, I don't see how that's reality. So now we're kind of not talking.
Should we be concerned about that?
Nope, because everybody else who's actually in the business and has helped me with producing stuff recently is fully understanding and cognizant of these facts.
Good.
So, yay. All right, Petty, was that it?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
All right, Galix, what's cooking with you?
Well, we had quite a bit of snow Tuesday, so work was off for Tuesday, and it kind of started late today, so I had a bunch of time I had to spend clearing snow this morning.
Doesn't that make your nose itchy? Oh, wait, different snow.
Yeah, and I'm still not entirely over being sick from last week, which
The plague.
it's mostly just a persistent cough now, and I think it is getting better. I mean, it's less, but still a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I had one of those for about 3 weeks. So,
Video game wise, I've been trying to get as much time in on Breath of the Wild because there's a lot to do in that game, and that's the kind of game I can spend a lot of time with not accomplishing much.
I've heard that a lot about that game.
Yeah, I just got to the part where you get the blue shirt.
I've also heard that it's thoroughly janked.
I don't know.
I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to get the Wii U version or not. I probably get the Switch used when it's $100 at Bookman's.
Yeah, I got the Wii U version because I'm not getting a Switch until at least April, probably. So I will probably get that version too, but we'll
It's
see.
like having a Zelda game that was actually made for the Wii U, except not.
Except it kind of was.
I know. That's the joke.
Yeah, that was part of the joke there.
Yeah.
It's
It's also a callback reference to the GameCube being version of Twilight Princess being the definitive version because it was actually made for that system and then mirrored and flipped for the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah,
up
for
until they
better
came
or
out with
worse,
the
they-
actual Wii U version.
Yeah, for better or worse, they learned their lesson for this one and took out the gamepad functionality mostly.
Adam, you were
It's
going to make
really obvious that the game was designed to have the map and stuff on the gamepad.
right. Adam, you were going to make a point, I believe.
forgot it.
That happens a lot around here. I'm sorry.
Yes, it does.
All right. What else you got going, Golix?
Not much else. Just have been having a little bit of between work and family stuff has been a little bit rough lately, but I don't want to get too much into that. So
I got you. All right. Ogre, you are up.
It's been a relatively kind of boring time, really. Not much has happened. The only big thing I have to deal with is next Thursday I go in to the dentist for a wax fitting for my dentures, which is where they give you a little wax replica of what your dentures are going to be like before they set everything, because I'm pretty sure they'd like to get this as perfect as you can, because you're going to be stuck with this for a while. You may want to make sure they're pretty good. Which, hopefully, if that works out, means that's the last step I have to deal with for that. And I can finally have my dentures back. And my teeth back. Hooray.
The guys have been keeping me peripherally up to speed, but I don't know the chapter and verse on this. Is it like a full denture or just a bridge?
Partial.
That's still no fun.
Not really. But, you know, at least it's better than...
Chronic mouth pain?
Well, that and probably health issues that come with rotting teeth.
Mm.
So...
Let's
see. Other than that, I say hopefully next Thursday, because I got jury duty for the month, which I have to keep calling in for, and they make me fucking cancel out on the dentist. But I may have to say something with loud bang bangs at the courthouse.
That's not something you want to express publicly on the air, Ogre.
It's just probably the... Shit, what's that thing called on the car?
Backfire?
Exhaust. The exhaust
the
port.
muffler.
The muffler, thank you. That'll just be going when I get there.
Everybody get down!
Don't worry, it's just my car.
I was a little bit worried today. My car was vibrating more than usual on the way into work, but that's presumably just because there was a bunch of snow in and under it. Because it was better by the time I was heading home.
Yeah, usually if you got snow stuck underneath there, it likes to kind of come off during the drive and really kind of fucks with you a bit, but... We barely even got any snow. We had, like, snow for half a day, and then it's just been kind of snowing in and out like it's a drunk guy trying to come in and out of the bar again. It's like, serve me another winter. And it's like, winter, you're drunk, go home. No, I'm not drunk. I'll tell you when I'm drunk.
Passes out.
It passes out and throws up. And then nobody flips it over because it's a Republican bar. Bam!
Wow.
What the fuck?
Ah! You really trumped that one up.
But, that's pretty much it. And also, I hate obtuse puzzles, so fuck those things.
Mm.
All right.
Especially ones that they expect you to be able to figure out way more easily than you actually can.
Next.
Twilight, are you smacking Z?
Well, not much going on as usual, just work and such, and still haven't finalized the choices for burial plots for my parents. So, oh, get that out of the way soon enough. Otherwise, I've just been playing games for the show and been playing Breath of the Wild myself, and that's about it.
Everybody's playing this fucking game but me.
And me.
Well, and me, but Naka has it, so I can live through them vicariously.
You guys are
There
going
you
to be LPing it sooner or later.
Nope.
Like,
Pretty
you know
much
how-
put a kibosh on that one.
Yeah, this is a game that's good for the kind of Let's Player that just fucks around with the game for a long time.
This is a streaming
not
game.
not the kind,
Mm.
yeah, not the
Yeah.
kind that actually tries to do a narrative and helpful guided Let's Play through the game. I mean, you could do a 100% run of it eventually.
But you'll be
But it
there
would
for
take a-
months.
It would take a lot of research to do that and try to come up with like the best way to get the Koroks in the right order and all that bullshit.
Gentlemen, let the co-host speak.
Sorry.
Adam?
Ogre, you were going to say something?
Was I? I just said I was living vicariously through Naka on his
No,
playthrough. So.
No, on the you
Oh.
put kibosh on that.
Yeah, we pretty much put the kibosh on that. You're not seeing this in an LP form, so
Yeah, I'm like, do you know how long that would fucking take?
this
Ugh.
this is very much a stream only kind of thing.
I mean, shit, it takes
Unless you really want to live off the coattails of it. Cough, cough.
It took you, like,
Alternately, if Naka gets really good at it, you could do like a one-part Let's Play of it just for fun.
I was about to say.
Okay.
all right,
Adam?
yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, I think you're up, Mac.
Yeah. And nobody interrupt me this time.
Guarantee
Fuck you.
nothing.
Fuck me! Fuck you! Okay, anyway.
Hey, how do you know? Fuck you. He's my best friend in college.
I'll teach you the Scottish martial art of fuck you! Anyway. God. Anytime you can get a So I Married an Axe Murderer reference in there, kill yourself. Anyway. We do not condone the advocation of suicide on this program.
There we
I'd like to
go.
get that- I'd like to get that disclaimer out of the way.
But I hear it's quite painless.
Oh.
Well, you gonna continue with the song there, or are you just gonna leave me hanging?
Anyway,
I was about to say, did you need me to look up something?
that worked
Yeah,
better
I need
with
you to
Benedict-
look up how many changes it brings.
Yeah, I'm a kazoo artist here.
So that's what you use for your voice acting.
Well, speaking of that, I'll be. I've already recorded my lines for the Emperor in Act 1 of the Mercadian Affair. Admiral Cobalt does not appear in Act 1. It's kind of a setup for the overreaching plot of this sprawling episode that I have been working on for 16 years through 4.5 reboots. It's kind of the ongoing saga of my evolution as a writer. And some of it is part of the ongoing saga of my evolution as an artist. Been talking with some of our voice actors, most notably Skylar Davenport, whom I'd love to have on this show at some point. She's raring to go. Getting ready to have her start recording Malaya's lines for Act 3. And our Commodore Naraya Solis, Anaris Cunanes, is going to start recording the Solis parts for Act 2 this weekend. So I'm pretty excited about that, although Act 2 is a little ways down the road, probably summer before we get to that. We're trying to, our spring release, of course, will be Act 1, and we have about 65% of the dialogue recorded. And if you follow my Facebook, I started experimenting with extremely primitive animation, which I'm very pleased about. I was able to get a passable blink cycle going for Malaya from a panel, as well as a not quite as passable hair flip. Keith is working with that, attempting to smooth that over. I sent him an MP4 of my feeble attempt. The problem is that I sent my preliminary blink cycle, and he says to me, well, right, but how many frames did you put in there? And I said 7. And he goes, why'd you put in 7 frames? And I said, because it makes the animation smoother. He's like, yeah, open, half closed, closed, right back to open, and then repeat if necessary. And I said, yeah, but she blinks too fast. What's that?
I had nothing.
Oh, I thought Adam was going to say something. She blinks too fast, and so what I did was I set a time delay. I'm using Photoshop because all of my efforts to do anything other than quasi-traditional animation have met with disaster. I tried learning rigging in Anime Studio, and I nearly died from terminal tedium. And that's saying something, considering the fact that I just said I'm fucking around with traditional animation in Photoshop. This is not the tool you would normally use for animation, but it is actually a thing, and it can it can output in high def, which I was shocked to discover. I thought, for years I've been making shitty animated GIF files for my advertisements and stuff like that, thinking it was the bee's knees and the absolute, tops for what Photoshop can do, and then I find out about timelines. I'm like, what's this? Oh, I can actually make key animation frames look kind of sort of smooth in Photoshop? What the hell is this? I can output at 24 frames per second? Mon Dieu! A lot of the export features look exactly like the screens Keith was showing me in After Effects for the output. And the videos I did are not at 1920 by 1020. I'm sorry, 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p, because of the format. We're actually going to insert that clip into the video so that while Malaya is blinking, it's going to slide across the screen from right to left, stopping in its original position at the upper left of the panel, and then the panel that was underneath it in the original page, I've actually filled in the missing parts that inset panel was blocking, and that will appear when Lord Gardu is speaking. So, also doing some interesting stuff for the movie comic that is exclusive to it and different from the original hand-drawn comic. Number one, I had commissioned my professional artist, who shall not be named, I almost blew it there, to redo 7 pages of the opening of Act 1, and where the panels that I redrew in 2009 and 2010 were lacking, I replaced them with hers. So
okay there,
we
Golex?
have some.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had muted the mic.
That's why I kept stopping.
It always
so
has a cross through the microphone when it's muted.
Yeah.
I don't do it in Skype. I do it on a little pendulum thingy on my cord.
Anyway.
Anywho. So. What are we doing? The entire final fight sound effect set?
Yes.
car.
Perfect. um, so yeah, I've been putting together these little animations to try and do that. And plus, as I said, I'm resurrecting previously unseen artwork where necessary. We're kind of making a sort of master edition director's cut of this comic in order to make the film. So that way the fans and readers actually have something worth seeing. Now, you guys may have noticed this if you watched the teaser act, that we actually added in some animations where there was none previously, like the pulsation of the slipstream device going off. Keith did some amazing stuff with Adobe Audition in terms of sound effects and when Coulson disappears, his laugh fades away, which was kind of awesome. Special props to James Larrabee, our voice actor for Torrance Coulson in this episode. It's the best Mark Hamill Joker I've never heard from Mark Hamill. We found a couple of takes that actually were a little more subtle, and that's because while Coulson his reactions are kind of cartoonish and a little bit bombastic from time to time, he does have these moments where he's showing subtlety. But he goes from cold to scalding hot in a flash. If you read through the comic, he has these moments where he's listening, and that's bullshit. You're fucking dead. So it's kind of like, it just goes from 0 to crazy in the blink of an eye.
So like this podcast.
Sort of. So that's going to be interesting because I'm going to try to get some. I'm going to try to integrate some animatics into that sequence. Maybe like a head turn or reaction shots and stuff like that, wherever possible, to try and spice it up a little bit, because just looking at the static images or having them pan left or pan right or zoom in and stuff like that is just not enough. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing that I'm really excited about is, like the flames in the teaser act, we're going to replace a lot of the backgrounds with computer generated imagery. I've already been talking with Alex about recreating the cave sequences, the backgrounds for the cave sequences. Instead of using the static illustrations, have something that we create something, maybe see if we can get one of these programs to randomly generate, stalactites and stalagmites and stuff like that, so we can pan around the cave. And then it'll be kind of like a green screen effect where, you have this CGI rendered cave, and then you have a couple of static objects like, if this was live action, it would be real world practical props, such as Coulson's control panel and stuff like that. But that would also, we'd probably want to have some kind of dynamic imagery on that as well. When we got to Act 5 the first time around and Malaya stumbles across the control panel, I had replaced all of the hand-drawn BS graphics with some kind of humorous actual computer graphics I had cobbled together from various trips through YouTube. So you have stuff like oscilloscope readings and blueprints and diagrams and stuff that have all been sort of obfuscated in Photoshop so that it looks more like an actual control panel. So I'm hoping to be able to do that again and maybe create some dynamic flashing images and things that will change there to, once again, give some more interesting visual direction besides just panning around and pretending that we're animating this thing. So that's, I'm actually looking forward to that now that I've figured out how to use the animation timeline in Photoshop, because now it's like, well, if you could just have him raise his arm or something like that. And I'm like, no problem. Sorry, I was watching Star Trek Generations clips last night. Somebody's supposed to follow up with, "Oh shit."
No.
No,
Bother.
it's like, "Oh no, senor."
That's just racist.
Oh no, Jabba's kitty escaped. Anyway.
Run out of
Trying to
topic?
Dead
I told-
air.
I told-
Dead air.
I told you guys I was tired. Plus, I've expanded my friends list so greatly on Facebook right now that I'm no longer being drowned by my hysterical friends on the left, inundating me with the latest thing that Occupy Democrats has to say about Trump. That's actually buried in. I'm actually now finally seeing cat memes.
What's a cat meme? Those are weird and foreign.
I think
Have
I
you
hear
seen
it
the
happens
little-
when you have friends who are like moms.
Have you seen the one about the cat that's like a little wizard and just goes whoosh? That's my favorite right now.
The other one was I've got this chick in California who spends all of her time just dissing people that she's found on Tinder. And all of the narrative on this particular person's wall is about what shitheads guys are on Tinder, how online dating is a game for the young, and how she's never going to date anyone who ever friends her on Facebook.
Kinky.
And then she ends up going out on a random Twitter date.
Yep.
That'll end well.
I keep doing this. The other day she posted this about how she's never going to date another poor guy ever again, and I'm like, unfriend.
Meanwhile, on Twitter, I can't stop hearing about how John Tron is an utter shithead.
Oh my god.
Comments not without merit, but
Well, I mean,
it's completely with merit. Like, considering, it turns out, he's a fucking racist.
when you find out that your vlog heroes are a Nazi.
Well, your YouTube heroes.
Well, yeah, I said vlog, so I was encompassing all of the services.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
Kind of really strained the definition of heroes here.
I mean,
well, that's why I kind of nearly barfed on the term there. To be honest with you, I threw up a little bit in my throat even saying it.
there is a action figure line called YouTube Heroes.
That
I
is.
saw that the other day, and I think I died a little on the inside.
Are you sure it wasn't YouTube and Heroes?
No,
Nope, YouTube heroes, and it was apparently a bunch of
Peop-
Minecraft streamers, and I went like, oh.
People who have metaphorically committed suicide on YouTube.
Ogre's just waiting for his figure.
Oh God, no!
Naka's maybe, since Naka
Why do you
did
think I don't
Minecraft.
show up on camera? The
Ogre's
photogenic is not one word I would use for me.
Same.
Oh,
That's why
oh.
this is audio podcast.
Ogre's action figure will just be a bag of salt.
A bag of potato chips, more like.
Yeah,
No,
high five.
I was saying you're salty.
I am not salty, good sir. And I will
Motherfucker.
duel anybody who says otherwise.
Card games or swords?
There we go.
Magic, bitch. I'm a red mage.
Oh man, there's not a lot going on right now in the studio, just because I promised Keith I would give him 2 weeks off. Not just from making the movie, but from me in general.
Don't die in the meantime, right?
Right? No, it's just like I've been sending him stuff via text, but I haven't. Like, we've been on call a lot lately, and I realize from 8 years of doing this podcast that everybody needs a break from me every now and again.
That's why we only get to stick with you for once a day. After that, we all want to take our cyanide pills.
Well, you guys could respond to stuff that I say on Skype just to humor me every now and again.
Yeah, but you always post at weird times, like at 4 in the afternoon. Who's awake during that time?
Oh, I see. I understand the 2 in the morning ones, but
It's also
Yeah, and you're also in Arizona, and you don't have daylight savings time or Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so it's kind
hey,
of. A
I
weird
remembered
place.
to put the podcast on at 8:00 instead of 9:00 today.
Good boy.
Adam.
there's also a lot of chatter going on at any one time, so your comments tend to get buried in between video game videos.
I comment, and then there's a 4-hour stretch before anybody says anything, and the very next thing that pops up is somebody posting a video completely ignoring what I said. So,
Dude, we all talk in links at this point.
Yeah. I'm waiting
But
to
none of
find
the
my
links have
meme.
And
Wait.
not
none
even
of
the.
the links have anything to do with what I said.
Yeah.
I'm feeling greatly underappreciated here, guys.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and we don't even talk in links like Link. Yeah? What? What? Meow.
Does he? I forget. Does he speak in Breath of the Wild, or is he still a fucking mute?
He technically talked in Wind Waker when he did the meow thing, but Breath of the Wild, you're gonna have to ask the other guys.
Oh my god.
Well, seeing how Nintendo's not being linked, I'm gonna say he's still a mute.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he's still-
Zelda. Zelda speaks in this one.
Yeah.
Well, there was
Link's dialogue choices in Breath of the Wild have a lot of character, so I suspect he is actually saying stuff. He just doesn't have a voice.
He usually does say something.
It's
It's
implied
just
he says stuff in
voices.
other games too, but he doesn't actually talk.
Right,
Right.
but in a lot of the other games, your dialogue choices don't have much character, whereas here you have more.
Well, Petty
That-
Fan, it's also implied that the Warrior of Light talks, but I don't get the option to grab the guy by the scruff and go, "You listen here, motherfucker. I'm gonna put this plant down your throat, and you're gonna fucking like it for once in your life."
Or stab a
I see we have some
motherfucker in the
issues here.
jugular.
I see we have some issues here.
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh my god.
I'm just waiting for the one time we get an option where an obviously bad guy pops up, and we just get the option to go like, "He's the bad guy."
Initiate combat.
Or you could be a psycho like me and actually read all of Link's dialogue out loud in my own voice.
I think that's less psycho and more sad.
Let me tell you something, okay? Anyway. So anyway, Donald Trump, yeah, that guy.
I
It's
thought
not been a good day for him.
I hear he's losing a little ground. Oh, and the official poll numbers came out.
39%.
That was higher than I expected.
Honestly, I'm surprised he made it into the 30s.
Like, if that's actually this has never happened before. Like, he's got record disapproval ratings out the gate. Like,
Yeah.
These are numbers that you'd see like at the end of a second term.
When they just don't give a
Somebody-
shit anymore.
Somebody said something to me about this, and I said, vigilance. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. However, I'm a little less worried about Trump now than I was before the inauguration. And the reason for this is that, number one, even though he has R next to his name in spirit, he does not, he's not popular with the Republicans. Paul Ryan is also the most tone-deaf, drooling retard I've ever had the displeasure of witnessing in politics.
And that might be the biggest compliment you could ever pay him.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he says stuff like you're going to kick seniors and poor people off off their medical plans, and he's like, "Yeah, isn't it great? What
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with you?"
Well, not just seniors and poor people, but people with disabilities.
I think a lot of
them
these
too.
people hold like a very sincere worldview that if you're not rich, it's because there's something wrong with you.
You know what? That's possible, but it's like I don't know how you can hold that philosophy and also call yourself a Christian unless you live in the most spectacular static warp bubble that ever existed.
I think the
Funny
point
thing about being
that-
rich, really good at buying static warp bubbles.
I think the point you wanted to make, Gollix, was more or less that these are people who think that if they can force you into a situation where you can get on your own 2 feet, you'll be better for it. Despite the fact they're not reading the idea that these kind of people don't necessarily have 2 feet.
Right, and
Well,
that
you can't
that
stand
if
on
you
your.
can't. It's if you can't, it's because of something wrong with you. Therefore, even if it goes badly for you, they're still doing you a favor by removing all your supports.
Very simple analogy. You can't stand on your own 2 feet, nor haul yourself up by the bootstraps if all of the ground is quicksand.
I was just going to say, if you don't have 2 feet.
Well,
I mean, it kind of
However
makes
you
it
want-
impossible. Why would you own boots
You
in the
know what?
first place?
yeah, I don't want to accidentally make any allegories to amputees at this point.
Dude, you
because
already
that-
dropped retard earlier. I don't think you can go too much further.
Yeah, your high
No,
horse
I'm
is
not-
somewhere in the
I
next
wasn't
county.
Criticizing it. I wasn't criticizing it for. I wasn't criticizing it for the political correctness. I was criticizing it because it's a terrible metaphor. I don't understand. Anyway, the point I was trying to get at here is that Trump doesn't know how to be president.
No, he does not.
Paul Ryan doesn't know how to be anything other than a lizard person. Mitch McConnell is definitely a turtle. There is no unified Republican government, and that's the most insidious delusion of all in this entire election and political cycle. Is the idea that just because a bunch of people call themselves Republicans, that somehow they're going to, get on the choo-choo train here and move everything forward, and they're going to pass this radically bad agenda, even as far as Republicans are concerned. And they act like, oh, well, because all the houses of government are controlled by the Republicans, we're just going to steamroller this shit through. The only way that's going to happen is if McConnell uses the nuclear option on the filibuster. And if he does that, he's fucked in the ass, because there's just no way to recover
that
from
image in everyone's head.
Well, I already described him as a turtle, so it's kind of handy.
Turtle.
He
Anyway.
pulls himself into his shell and Tubby kicks him away.
The point being is that there is no such thing as a unified Republican government, because there are so many striations of Republicans. You've got Donald Trump Republicans. You've got Tea Partiers. They're still a thing. I know everybody hates to admit that. You've got moderate Republicans who are just like, nope, not gonna do it. Who have been forced into, in their estimation, the dubious position of siding with the Democrats. So even if they did remove the nuclear option on the filibuster, they're still not getting 51 votes.
But Mac, whatever happened to the Lincoln Republicans? Oh wait, the theater
They
incident, right?
Now, I was going to say they became Democrats.
Wah, wah. Mine was funnier because I miss Lincoln, even though he'd be dead anyway. But
I like the meme that shows an arrow pointing to Lincoln being shot by John Wilkes Booth, and there's an arrow pointing to Lincoln, and it says, and at the top it says, just so everyone's clear, this is the progressive, and then pointing to Booth, it says, this is the conservative.
my favorite one recently, and I think it's kind of died down, was that so much for the tolerant left. Have you not seen that one?
No.
Oh, it's
Sounds
usually
familiar.
something like, I guess the best picture I've seen was Captain America punching the Red Skull, and the Red
Oh,
Skull
yeah.
goes, so much for the
Oh, yeah.
tolerant left.
Jesus.
Now, most of the ones I've been seeing are the "This is the future liberals want" meme.
Oh, that one's funny.
That gets
There's been a lot of
batshit
Star Trek.
insane.
There's been a lot of Star Trek ones of that, and they're like, yes, this is exactly the future we want.
I
Yes.
think there was one that had like a lizard woman from the center of the earth at the beginning of time, and
Oh yeah,
her
that's
wife.
that's from Doctor Who.
Yeah, I was thinking that was from
The,
Doctor
let-
Who, and I my first thought was like, you might want to explain your whole race thing from the beginning of time and you live in the center of the earth thing, because that's
Yes,
the part I'm
the-
having trouble wrapping my head around.
The
Well, I mean, we could,
the Precambrian lizard woman and her wife.
you know,
That-
we could just put a row of Daleks there and say this is the future conservatives want.
Uh,
in,
God.
res- in sarcastic response to
I
that.
don't know. I think those dogs are looking a little immigrant-y.
Oh God. Oh man. They look like they're made foreign.
It looks like they were made by the Germans, yeah.
Funny,
So,
you'd think
exactly
you'd think that neo-Nazis would love Germans.
But they're
Now
American.
let's not. No. Before I get letters,
Yeah,
we're
you
not
want
gonna
to put
slam
a
the
lid on that
Germans.
one before you open that up again, or
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Probably.
We're not gonna do that. No letters.
Who would they write?
They can leave messages on my fucking YouTube channel now.
Oh, right.
God, and YouTube is not a place that you want to open up that can of whoop ass.
Fucking hell, I only read our comments on our videos. It's the only ones that I know that are civilized.
And even then, not so much sometimes.
Doodles.
Everything else,
go.
it's like a 50-50 chance of getting like an on-topic comment or, let me tell you about them Jews. And you go, oh shit, God.
Oh,
Really,
no.
YouTube is the place you want to argue this?
Oh,
And then the comments section of the Game Grumps? What the hell?
Is Johnson somewhere? And back around again.
yeah. Is this slash poll?
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video making fun of that kind of recently, and it's starting to look like the Game Grumps may have kind of dodged a bullet.
I can't. Between what goes on at my job and what is happening in politics right now, I can't even or odd anymore.
Well, you're the one who lives in Arid Zone Alpha.
You know, I live in Tucson, and I got to tell you something. Pima and Cochise County are basically a sea of blue. Are basically dots of blue in a sea of blue.
Well, that's kind of how the whole map works.
Well, if you look more closely, you know, even red states have major pockets of blue in them. It's just the
Right, and
problem
it's
is
usually in areas of higher population.
well, I think you guys should start watching Adam Ruins Everything. Different
I
Adam,
do.
of course.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
made-
love
that.
I made that joke once, and I think Adam still has revenge out for me on that.
I
He
love
has
this.
revenge out for me on a lot of things, honestly. Kind of a little concerning.
Don't we all, Ogre?
What did I do? It's not like I ground up your bones to make my bread. Not yet, anyway.
You've been trolling my podcast since 2011.
I'm an ogre. I ogre your podcast.
Okay, I'll accept that. I will accept that as valid. It's like, go ahead and say it.
Pretty much what an ogre is. A troll tries to be subtle, cough, cough, quotations. That ogre is just out and out, fuck you. You and your stupid ideals.
No, I'm sorry. I was going for a Shrek 2 reference, but it wasn't picked up.
I know, that's why I was ignoring it.
Oh, okay. No more itchy butt crack? Anyway, like, but you love being an ogre. I know.
But I'm
But
an
I love-
elemental ogre. I'm not even Scottish.
But I love Fiona more. Anyway, that was a interesting tangent there.
Aren't they always?
Everybody, it's just what I got tired of was the political echo chamber from both sides because everybody
My
was running
God.
around.
This is a non sequitur.
I just got tired of it because it was so extreme on either side, and everybody's still throwing around the so-called fake news websites. It's like, look, if you just remember that websites like Occupy Democrats and the Young Turks are basically
Listen,
opinion.
all right, I made that mistake with the Onion once. You don't have to keep bitching about it.
No, I'm just saying if you remember that they are opinion, peppered with a little bit of yellow journalism every now and again, then you can sometimes get the truth.
Please try not to mention yellow journalism. I think I hear Adam foam at the mouth every time.
Oh. Well, it was like Rachel Maddow yesterday had an episode where she's like, I've got Trump's tax returns. Yeah, from 2005. And it's 2 pages from his personal returns. It wasn't the real tax returns, and it definitely wasn't the one that everybody thought it was. Which is, something that might actually show that he and his companies have ties to the Russians.
It's
Because
called
that's-
it's called
Huh?
being part of corporate news.
Mhm.
Right.
Because, I guarantee she would,
She probably has the personal integrity to not do something like that on her own.
I mean, on
But,
one
like-
hand, that is more information about his personal finances than he's made available
Well,
before. But on
and-
the other
and
hand,
this is-
yeah, it's not what people were
Well,
hoping for.
And this is what I said, because there was a guy who was ranting about it on Facebook, and I said to him, yes, you're right, it was misleading, and we're tired of being misled. However, try to look at it from this point of view. Did Adam hang up on purpose?
Probably not.
I think he might have dropped.
Okay. Anyway, I'll keep going with this, and hopefully he'll rejoin us momentarily. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
You and your Shrek references, I swear.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't remember where that one's from, but that's not.
That's
the
like the
point.
first one. He goes like, ogres are like onions. They have layers.
You mean like a parfait? Everybody likes parfaits. No, ogres are like onions.
Well, the point is that it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. The more stuff that is revealed to us, the more we learn about the difference between television persona Donald Trump and reality Donald Trump. So even if it's not exactly what we were looking for, it's still useful because it does tell us something about the way that he thinks and the way that he treats other people. The problem that I really have with this whole thing is that if you don't know how Trump treats people in reality, then you have been sticking your head in one hell of a hole.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they have that. The Daily Show has their quote unquote lawyer friendly version of March Madness. And it's just basically you go through all the Trump tweets since like probably the early 2010s and try to figure out which one has been the worst. And he's just like, apparently thinks his opinion needs to be heard by people.
Mm.
Well, the other thing is, I hate to say this, but as critical as he is of like the Kardashians and stuff like that, it's like, Donald, let's be brutally honest here.
You're no better than
Or-
them.
Well, yeah, for
It's
most
the same
of his
thing,
adult
except
Yeah.
for that he has a background in real estate.
for most of his adult life, his sole claim to fame is that he's famous for being rich and famous for being famous. So if that's his criticism of everyone else, pot and the kettle, my friend.
Yeah, the only reason
Yeah.
people might remember he's famous he was originally famous for being in real estate is because he has his name on so many buildings.
Yeah.
Well, that and the Central Park 5, but the less we remind him of that, the more often they'll be, free.
Hmm.
See if I can get him back here. We'll be wrapping up the show shortly, so I was kind of hoping to get a final thought.
Yeah,
Yo.
sorry, my
Hey, Adam.
computer crashed.
Oh,
Oh,
that's not
boy.
good.
It's going around today, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, no, it just kind of froze up there. It wasn't Skype, particularly. Just fuck if I know.
Mm.
No.
You missed it as I was
Did the call
about to make
crash,
some.
or-
No,
No,
the
we
call's
were
working
still here.
fine.
For once.
Where did I get cut off?
I was making some kind of allegorical commentary, but and I'm sure everybody thought it was going to be more inflammatory than it was.
Basically, Louise said Trump's so different than the Kardashians, who keeps bashing.
Yeah, he bashes them for being famous and famous for being rich, and it's like, aren't you the same thing like prior to The Apprentice?
Yeah, but at least we got to see Paris Hilton naked.
Woo!
Um,
Which I'm sure was a carefully orchestrated publicity stunt.
Probably.
Because billionaires don't have things happen to them by accident. It's kind of in the rule book.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about you, but that spike strip out there says otherwise.
The big issue that I have is that if my statement is in fact true, though, then that means that either Trump has finally lost his. The only thing is that if this isn't a cynically orchestrated distraction and Trump really has lost his mind, then I fear the people who are pushing him into oblivion more than him. And that's why I said I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. I'm afraid of the people that he associates with.
like,
Yeah, that's the scary part.
yeah, if you're talking about the Maddow thing, it's suspected that it may have been an attempt at an distraction. It's just, it's hard to distract people with an "and so what,"
Mhm.
like,
Well-
it wasn't nothing, but it was just insubstantiality. Like, it's not going to distract from the
Oh.
fact that Trump care is imploding as we speak, and his fucking travel ban got banned again.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. His
No.
revised travel ban.
Which, as it should, because of like all of the everybody who knows stuff about stuff basically released after the last one that, okay, the thing that you're doing this for, this will do nothing about.
Yeah, well, the motherfucker sunk himself because they used his own statements against the ban in court. Like,
Almost
No,
like being a
it's like-
racist dickhead in the campaign trails coming back to bite him.
and Rudy Giuliani really fucked him over since he mentioned the whole, I want to do institute a Muslim ban. How do I do that legally? That was actually used in court today.
God.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So it turns out being an open air racist has its fucking downsides.
Mhm.
The thing is, the vast majority of Americans are not racist, at least not on purpose. As the old joke goes, everybody's a little bit racist, but
No, I'm not. Damn whiteys.
but
I hate everybody equally.
right, that's the misanthrope.
Starts going
credo.
on a diatribe from Full Metal Jacket. Jesus, I didn't know you could say that on air.
You can't, you moron!
We're not governed by the fucking FCC.
And fuck the FCC.
Because all cartoons are fucking jerks.
Oh, isn't that right, Doodles?
Yeah. Oh my god, you jumped on my lap and then you don't expect to be held. Get away. Speaking of cat memes, that's my cat behaving like a typical cat. Oh, I want the thing. Oh, now that I have it, I don't want it.
Sounds like that.
Yep.
So,
All right.
is Indiegogo campaign still going on?
I've got some revised things going on there. We crept up a little bit. It's not really gonna happen. I'm almost sure of it at this point that we're not gonna make it. I mean, we've got what, 7 days left, and it's physically impossible. There's no way that we're gonna somehow miraculously get what, $14,100,
Barring a really generous lottery winner.
I guess.
If you just
At
want
that
to win
point-
the lottery, then kindly hit Mac up.
Yeah. Yeah, let me hit this
Trust
thing
me, if I
again.
hit the lottery, Mac would probably be on the low end of my list there.
Yeah, if you just won the lottery, donate it all to Mac because otherwise you'll get kicked off of your Trump care.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
Please.
Apparently in the Trump care bill, like out of the 20-page bill, like 6 pages of it are dedicated to making sure that anyone who's on the Affordable Care or whatever, who on assisted assurance or whatever, who wins the lottery immediately gets kicked off.
Well, as you should be, because at that point you'd be able to afford your own health care.
It's not something
That doesn't mean it should be an immediate thing in the healthcare law.
It's a significant part of the healthcare bill. This one thing is 6 pages. It does not need to be 6 fucking pages.
It could be
But
one
Adam,
line.
Look at theirs compared to the Democrats. This is big government, and this is not.
You know, the problem is that is that when you try to rein in an entire industry that has run unchecked for the entire duration of their existence, a 20,000-page law is conservative.
Right. And a 20 to 30 page law is stupid.
Because it doesn't cover the contingencies, and it doesn't even scratch the surface. And they don't understand all of the collusion and gouging and price fixing and other bullshit that goes on in the medical industry. That makes insurance a losing proposition if you are actually out to help people.
So where's the provision that says that this guy gets health care in case he was sexing up his donkey and fell back and shotgunned off his nuts? Does that really need to be? Does that really need to be in there? It happened 5 times last week. Yeah, it needs to be in there.
Back on the Indiegogo thing, we're at $461. If we can get another $39, somebody drop.
No, not that I know of.
Not me.
Not me.
That was definitely the drop sound, but I didn't see anyone, so.
I didn't hear it, so whatever.
That was weird. What I was gonna say is that if we can get to like $520, what I will do is I will try to finagle the teaser / cold open like we did with the Mercadian affair. And then we'll have a proof of concept out there, because it'll be just enough to cover some of the animation time and actor salaries for that little bit of dialogue. If we can pull that
having
off,
an actual animation teaser would help any further attempts at promoting to get an actual animation project.
so the plan was we'd make the teaser / cold opening credit sequence and put that out there, and then maybe in 6 months or so, after people have not only have we had the time to produce it, but actually get it out there and let people look at it for a little bit, we would go again with the Indiegogo. This will also follow about 4 or 5 months of updating 3 times a week on the StarshipMoonhawk.com website. Because remember, I have a metric ton of backlog stored from the previous incarnation of the comic. Extremely little is changing in Act 4 and 5, except that I swapped out one character, and we are adding a new prelude at the beginning of Act 4. So Keith and Fallon will continue to illustrate for about 3 or 4 more weeks. Actually, today I was supposed to put up the Act 4 cover, and I forgot to do that, so I will fix that post haste. But yeah, we should have roughly 4 new pages, and then we're going to go into backlog for 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, until I run out of pre-existing pages. Of which I said there's about 60, so that's roughly 30. That's roughly 20 weeks of comics, so 5 months.
Yay.
Yep. In the interim, the crew and I will be working on Act 1 of the Mercadian Affair movie comic, and as I said, if you've been watching my Facebook, I got a couple of sample animatics of stuff that I'm experimenting with, so that I can actually share the burden. I've been actively participating this time around in cutting the comic apart into usable film clips. So taking out the panels, blocking in the missing pieces from behind inset panels and stuff like that. All of those things will go towards making Alex and Keith's jobs easier, so that they can produce this faster, because now we're going from 4 pages plus a completely new opening credits sequence to 22 pages of comic that all have to be broken up, animated in some way, shape, or form. New backgrounds will be rendered, and then we have to attach all of the dialogue. And as I said, we still have a couple of parts that I have to fill. Most notably, Keith will be doing Micaiah Paladin.
Yay.
That's
Yep.
going to be weird.
Uh-huh. Well, it's funny because when Sean Chiplock borked on us, and then Keith's friend comes along and says, "Oh yeah, I'll play Admiral Cobalt," and then before ever turning in a single line of audition says, "I'm giving up voice acting."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And Keith turns to me and says, "So you're Admiral Cobalt now?" And I said, "All right, I'll work on that." And now you've heard it for real. It is actually a thing. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It took 4 or 5 sessions to really find the character. And of course, I'm a new voice actor, even though I've been podcasting for years now. You know,
It's not exactly the same thing now, is it?
Well, you know how on the show I've always been doing my characters. You know, not quite the same thing, but acting in its own way. But
yeah, that
actually,
Scottish voice from earlier made me really believe you were trying to not be Scottish.
you sounded remarkably like a Canadian pretending to be Scottish. Oh, I'm sorry. We should have more respect for the dead.
We should, but fuck them. Wait, no, don't. That's a crime.
If you're out there fucking the dead, I don't want to know you.
What if they were grateful about it?
Oh my god.
No.
Just get out. Get out.
No.
It's a roundabout way of saying yes. But
Oh, no. No. But, you know, now that I've actually done it and I've actually put it out there for public consumption, now it's a little more real to me now. So I'm taking it a lot more seriously. Because I think when I recorded my lines for the not the Mercadian Affair, for the Death of Perseus, I was kind of phoning it in. And I listened to myself against our new Neriah Solis, and I was like, yeah, I got to do that again. So we did a table read one night, and it was me, Keith, Anaris, David. He was serving as narrator that night, and Nathan Bonner was there with us because he was listening in, so that way he could get an idea of, you know, how our methodology works. And I think we also had Tiffany Lay from Kage Productions. And so we did a table read with Anaris, and she was so, it took her a couple of takes to really find the character, but once she nailed it, it was just like, all right, I got to step up my game. So I'm like vicarious.
I think Petty fell asleep.
I'm not asleep.
Somebody fell asleep.
Twilight?
Unless somebody's being consumed by something.
Thy flesh consumed.
Well, anyway, we were doing the table read, and she was doing so well at it, like so quickly, that I was like, damn, son, I need to step up my game here.
And I need to get me some dim sum now. So just made myself hungry.
There you go. So I've re-recorded some sequences. The problem is that everything we've been trying to do keeps getting put on hold, and this is one of the things I've come to sort of loggerheads with one of my producers about, is that he doesn't seem to understand how animation differs from live action, because it's quite radical. Not just the filming aspect of it, but how the artistry actually works. You know, the actors are not really the stars here. The people who are the stars are the animators in animation, because they're the ones actually physically bringing the characters to life. And we have a field here where you have literally tens of thousands of people who think, well, shit, I'm gonna be a voice actor and make all the monies. And that's not how it works. I mean, it's not uncommon to do an entire production and pay your actors between $25 and $100. You know, so voice actors don't have time to give any fucks about your production. When I contacted Vic Mignogna, the first thing he said to me was, that's nice and all, but I don't do crowdfunding campaigns. Unless, of course, it's for Star Trek Continues, but we won't belabor that point.
Yeah, but he likes Star Trek.
Well, no, but the thing is, he doesn't do crowdfunding campaigns for the same reason that all the other voice actors don't. Because the instant they're done recording their lines and get their PayPal
They
from
get kicked
me,
out of the union.
no, they go instantly somewhere else because they've already got 5 more gigs lined up for Tuesday.
It's just a job, is what
Right.
you're saying.
Right. The animators are the ones who make careers out of it because they're the ones paid the big bucks. It's like a totally inverted pyramid for animation versus live action. Live action, you're paying for the face that goes along with the voice. You're paying for the skills not only as an orator, but as, you know, the physical appearance, the attractiveness or lack thereof, and the the physical presence, the whole package from an actor. So, you know, without that, major motion pictures don't work. But in voice acting, you know, if you lose one voice act, there's 30 more girls who sound very similar on YouTube that are just looking for a job. You know, the big difference for me is that because I understand this aspect of it, I'm trying to find some kind of connection and respect for my cast members, because one of the things that's really important to me is that they stick with us through the long haul. In other words, when I come back to them, they're not like, oh, Jesus, it's that fucking guy again. And I came
That's what I
pretty
say
close
every
with
time we start this show. Oh, Jesus, is that fucking guy again?
I laugh because it's true. But no, I mean, seriously, it's like, you know, it's like you get so many speculators out there. It's like people asking for art on DeviantArt. You know, they're like, oh, God, he's got science fiction. Oh, big space gun. Woo. Okay, yeah. It's like Star Trek, only it's dark and cynical. Woohoo. It's like, yeah. Okay.
Done before.
It's like, yeah. But how much does it pay? Oh, it pays in credit. Oh, okay, yeah, fuck off. I got shit to do. You know, so I mean, I've been kind of wading through that, and it's like I've had a lot of people who've looked at the project and go, wow, this is actually pretty exciting. You know, they've now looked at the webcomic, which is more than I could have hoped for in many cases. And they're like, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. And I'm like, well, you know, trying very hard, and I do actually listen to feedback, even if I get grumpy about it. So this has been one hell of a learning experience for me, but I think I made the right choice going with animation as opposed to, you know, trying to do some live action bullshit in my garage. That would have been unfortunate. Although my parents' garage, being this huge 3-car garage, would have made a nice sound stage.
I got an 8-car garage, but it's a little far for you to get to. Also a little cluttered.
I hear Nathan Fillion works cheap.
That's what he said?
Oh! Will work for PS4 games.
Castle's not paying as much as I thought it was.
What's that now?
I said Castle's not as paying as much as I thought it was.
Oh! Yeah, it's like, hey, how's that season 9? Ooh. I heard some of the plot synopses for the proposed episodes, and I was terrified. And the fact that they were only planning on doing like 8 episodes.
And then at the end, somebody from the light was going to come in and goes like, "We win again." And you go, "Son of a bitch! It's been a crossover with Young Justice this whole time."
All right, I think we'll end it on a laugh there tonight. Be sure to join us next week. I just threw a blank on who knows what is what here.
We have a guest next week.
Yes.
We're having Drek and Seabass. They make YouTube videos on Final Fantasy 14.
The hell is that?
A game I can't.
Yes, Ogre.
It's a game
yes.
I can't afford to play. But we should have an exciting show for you. I'll be, I will be my usual chipper self. However, I will be turning over responsibility for the interview to the boys here because they know everything there is to know.
Well,
I'm sure.
me.
If it's a Final Fantasy, how come there's 15 of them? Jesus.
Not counting sequels.
I mean, is this even really a mainline Final Fantasy game? Come on.
Why the hell is Lightning coming back? I thought everyone hated her.
All right. But yeah, it should be an interesting show. Should be an interesting show. It's been a while since we've had an interview, so I'm looking forward to the return to old form.
Yeah, I'm surprised we even do interviews on this show anymore.
Well, every once in a while, Ogre, I run out of things to say.
Which is everyone,
Sometimes.
honestly.
Yeah. All right, then. Well,
On a lighter note, fuck you, Ogre. Oh, an end episode.
dun dun dun. Call recording has completed.
Ugh. Just got a shiver up my spine when he said that.
All right, guys. Good show tonight, and be sure to tune in next week. And on behalf of the crew at Moonhawk Studios Presents, I'm your host, Mac Paladin, saying thanks for listening and stay safe out there, kids. Also, please don't sue.
And find me in the Alps.